Oh, also, is it Barley Passable or Barley Passable? Sorry, I said your name wrong in...
We don't mind because the whole thing is just like, we don't care what you say.
Okay.
It's just like, we just like saying Barley Passable. That's how it's spelled as
Okay.
well. And we just flipped it because we're like, it sounds better.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Because I was like I'd been saying Barely Passable, and I'm like, I feel like that's wrong. And then I heard someone say it's Barley Passable, and I was like, oh my God.
Well, shout outs to that person.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah.
That feels pretty good to know that someone knows what our name is.
True facts. Where did the name come from? Like, what made you go, yeah, we're Barley Passable?
Because we were at university together, and we weren't doing very well in just one class.
Yeah.
We were basically like on the edge of failing this like very specific class.
And then we had the last exam of this class, and we're like, we didn't do any study, and we're like, you know what, fuck it.
Can we swear?
Yeah, no, swear.
And we're like, we don't need this dumb class. It was actually a great class, but we don't need this class. We're just gonna write music instead. And then we're like,
we're gonna barely pass this class.
Are you Are you actually serious? That's actually what your name...
Yeah, it has a good story. It's good. Oh, it's
I thought it was... Can I be honest? I thought it was going to be something really, like, wishy-washy, like, oh, like, you had, like, a drug experience and, like, you saw something and you thought...
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was going to be something, like, really, like,
What do you think we would have seen in the drug experience?
Barley? Like
the
the weight? Barley Passable.
Yeah.
I just thought it was going to be something really wishy-washy, but honestly, that's kind of funny that it was just, I hope we pass this test.
Yeah, well, instead of, like, studying for the exam, because we used to catch the ferry and to go to uni together, and instead of studying, like, on that ferry, we're just like, let's just, like, make some beats, like, some dumb beats before we go into this exam, and we're like, we're not going to pass this class. And then you messaged, we have, like, a text chain, and he was like, he messages, like, oh, what if we, like, made this, like, the music we're making, whatever this is, we should call ourselves Barely Passable, but you're like, it sounds better or something like that.
Yeah, it sounds like so much nicer rolling off the tongue, like being like bar
instead of bear.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much harsher.
But do you get annoyed when you hear people pronounce it wrong?
Only when you pronounce it wrong. No,
Jeez, thanks.
Of course not. No.
Definitely not.
The whole thing is...
Because it comes from that. So, like, that's like, oh, we don't really mind.
Yeah.
And we just flipped it, and we just, like, we like it. And we don't mind that it's different and, like, kind of interesting.
And you guys seem, like, really down-to-earth people. Like, I don't get the, like, you know, we're sophisticated musicians. Gosh. Like, you need to say our name correctly. No. Like, you don't seem like that at all.
No. And, like, like, when you read stuff, like, quickly, you just, like, look at it and just be like, yeah, that's what, like, that is a word that I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
Like, Barely Passable.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
Very fine.
So you guys met at uni.
Yeah.
How did the friendship, like, form? Was it, like, an instant, like, we are brothers? Or was it, I fucking hate you? And then it was like, oh, I actually love you.
I think it, like...
So it just grew, hey?
Yeah, there were definitely... Like, I definitely actively did avoid you on the ferry a few times when I didn't know that well. Because I was like, I don't want to have a big,
we had, like
half-hour conversation.
Yeah, we had many years of uni. And we didn't know each other in the first year of uni.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
I can't really remember. But it was like in the second year of uni, like in this course, we both sort of realised, because it's like we just like went to a music uni. Yeah. So it was like, you know, it was like everyone's like striving to be really, really good and all that kind of stuff. So everyone's sort of in their own world. Yeah. And then once you sort of break through that, you realise like everyone's super nice and everyone's friendly and stuff like that. So we ended up just like hanging out in class and stuff like that. And just making music. We tried to make a cover of a Jungle song. I don't know if you know about that Jungle. Yeah, we tried to make a cover. Like, we tried to, like, remake a Jungle song together. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
Yeah.
Like, as an assignment or just for fun?
No, it's just for fun. Okay. No, we weren't that big on doing assessments.
I feel like with most musicians, though, like, whenever I talk to people who, like, love music and it's, like, they had to study music, I'm like, what was that like? Because obviously, like, you love it. And then it's like you're being marked on it, you're being criticized, everything is this, that. It's like, do you sometimes kind of be like, I don't want to do that, I just want to go off and be a musician? Like, how did you stick to the course, the uni, get the degree? Like, was there anything that was like, I'm going to drop out and just be a musician by?
Yes.
Well, hear this story.
That's what I did.
David dropped out.
In third year, so of the 4 years.
Of 4 years.
But it was like lucky, because like, luckily for us, like we didn't go to dodgy electronic music uni. We like studied jazz, so it was very different.
Yeah, there's like a separation between what we studied versus what we actually do now.
That's true.
Because like now we're kind of making like electronic music and like kind of like pop stuff ish, and so like that is like the complete opposite. Like the mentality when you go to a uni like that is like semi hate on pop music the entire time.
I would not even say semi. I would just say
I was kind of trying to like just softball it in.
No.
But yeah, they like there's definitely this like air of, I don't know if I want to say the word pretentiousness, but yeah.
Davey is like,
but like that's like sort of the energy around pop music when you go to like a place like that. So it was almost in our favor.
Okay. Because I was surprised when you said that you didn't do electronic music at uni. Because I was like, wait, you did jazz? Like, it just seemed so not in the field of thinking that I was at. And didn't you also say rock music you kind of were?
Yeah. So all throughout uni, I played in a rock band.
Okay, wow.
Instead, yeah.
Okay.
So that was like, that's what I was like a guitar player. That's like sort of the background you always come from. Like is playing rock music. It's like kind of the easiest way in.
And what was it like going from like a band to a duo?
I loved playing in a band.
Yeah.
And that's sort of like what I like to bring to our duo. But damn, doing a duo is like so much fun. It's like so much more exciting. There's so much more to do. And there's just like the energy is just so different. And it's so awesome.
Because I feel like with any dynamic, like whether you're a solo artist, a duo, a trio, a band, there's going to be different pros and cons.
Of course,
what would you say like the biggest positives to being a duo is, and what are like some of the downsides to being a duo?
Do you want to answer that?
I reckon that it's like convenient that like we are both at peak investment in what we're doing, whereas we don't have to. Like it's hard because people often have lots of stuff going on, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas like we can fully invest all our time, and we do invest so much time into what we do. So it's like really good being a duo because it's like there are only two of us, we're quite close. But I think that with any like the more the merrier is always the case.
Yeah, the more creative input, like always, is good.
So it's a shame that, not a shame at all, but it's like I can imagine that playing in a band you would get lots of amazing ideas and different flavors.
People like tossing stuff around like always. I guess that falls as a negative as well, like coming from a band like many years ago, exactly. Like where people like clash and stuff like that. That's sort of like how that ended.
But also, damn,
that sounds like a fun story.
Woo.
No, but like having a live drummer.
We really want to add. When we played a show the other day.
Yeah.
They had this like amazing punk drummer.
And you were like, "Can we
along.
steal
And
you?"
we were like, music.
And it was so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's so many upsides to playing as a duo.
But do you worry that if you brought in another person, they could ruin the dynamic, or do you feel pretty confident in vetting someone?
The way we would, I think we'd feel confident. I mean, like so many musicians, it's such a small community.
Yeah.
So I think everyone sort of has everyone is so nice. Yeah. And like everyone's sort of in it together. So I don't think you'd come across someone who would just be like a super bad human. But the way we'd run it still is like as a duo, and we'd like add a person like just for like the live stuff sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's because we do everything like together in the studio. We like work with sometimes like with producers and stuff. Just like starting to do that now. But I think just like the advantage of being a duo is just like we're so portable and just like movable. Yeah. We don't have to like wait on anybody. We live close by.
That's good.
We're like always doing something together. We probably spend more time with each other than we do with our girlfriends, which is just like not a good thing.
Do they actually, that's an interesting question. Do they get kind of like, come on, babe, like I want to spend time with you. Can you stop spending time with Davey? Can you stop spending time with Kai?
Like every now and then, I think it does. I think it like does come through, especially I would call us workaholics.
Okay.
So we work like a lot, and when we do get into this like headspace of just like getting enveloped in this den of a room and stuff like that, we just disappear for like
you forget that there's like a world.
Exactly. It's so easy to just vanish.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely.
We love our girlfriends. So.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they've been really supportive, like family? Do you feel like your friends and family, it's been like, yes, go for your dreams? Or do you feel like some people are kind of like, get a real job? Like, have you ever had that?
Sorry. Yes. Yes. I think I had a little bit of that. I think you kind of both have. Kai's and my own family are so supportive.
Yeah.
I think that when I left uni, that was I think that was understandably difficult.
Yeah.
I fully get that.
Yeah.
But I think that the more that we play and the more that our parents get to see us play, the more that they get convinced.
Yeah, we're just trying to convince them. Well, we're trying to convince everyone.
Isn't that just what it is to be a musician? Is constantly convincing people you're going to make it?
Definitely. Yeah, I've had people definitely ask me like, "Oh, like this is cool. Like, when are you going to get a job?" And I'm like, "Oh, huh, that's interesting. Like, this kind of is my job. Like this. Yeah. Like this is what I am doing. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I had someone ask me that.
Davy's just.
Bro, you should get a real job.
What the heck?
Davy's like, I'm getting a job tomorrow. Don't know if you know.
Yeesh.
Yeah, but. That's the thing. It's like we're just always trying to convince people.
Yeah.
And come to a show, see how hard we actually try and work on this stuff. Everyone is putting in so much work to make themselves legitimate. And it's not always for yourself. It's proving to people it's this is actually a viable thing to do.
Yeah.
Forever.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think whenever I see any musician make money from a show, whether it's big or small money, even busking, it's you just made money from music, so it's not it's impossible.
No.
And I think people look at the 1% who make millions of dollars or whatever, and it's just that's just not the only type of success you can have in music.
No, exactly. Well, everyone's chasing their own idea of what success is and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone's got their own definitions of whatever that is, but no one's, I don't think many musicians are in it to make a lot of money. We're here to make a living for sure.
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. But I don't think, I personally think the idea of it's not insanely hard to make money off of music. There's definitely
there's
career.
ways.
Yeah, especially we've been in it for a while now. And we're definitely not making very much money at all.
Yeah.
But you can see the ways people make money off of merchandise and selling tickets to shows and just doing so much cool stuff.
Definitely.
It's part of the excitement of actually trying to be a musician.
Yeah. And I like this idea that it's you're gonna keep the duo but not hesitate to bring people in to kind of create that creative flow, because sometimes you need those extra ideas.
Yeah.
Do you feel because when you sometimes see solo artists, they can get quite lonely and isolate themselves into their music. Do you guys always work together and constantly do music together, or do you sometimes go off and do your own thing and then come together?
Kind of an ebb and flow, hey? We have a goal for this coming up here, just work with loads of people and get it, just get creative with so many different people, which we're really excited to do. Yeah, we have this, at the moment, we have, this kind of... It's weird to, dig in on, the creative process, because it sort of just happens. It kind of just comes and goes. But sometimes we spend, hours, 12 hours a day, in the studio, just, together, and we just, crank out music constantly.
Yeah.
And then other times we're, probably after we've done that for, 3 weeks, we're pretty burnt out. So we, go back home, we've both got, our own little setups at, in our actual bedrooms and stuff. And we kind of just shelve out some ideas, but it's always better when we're when we're together. That's the thing we've found. We go back and we're it's nice to write for yourself and do all that kind of stuff and that's obviously the way that we just sort of get our emotions out, and the things we kind of want to say is best said through music. So it's nice to do that, but
you feel a lot of magic happens together
when we're together. That's the whole reason this started. We love the music that we make together, and so that's why it's easy. That's why our music sounds the same, and it has something tangible to it, because it's just we just whatever we make, doesn't matter what it sounds like, it's what we like to make. So that's Barley Passable. So.
Yeah, I love that. That's so heartwarming. It's just because I feel sometimes from the outside you could see a duo or a group and you think that's the front man, that's the side man. You don't think that they're equals, but I feel you guys, it's a real equal companionship. It's not oh, you're the main guy, you're the side guy. Because sometimes the vocalist kind of, you get put as the front.
I think that's a good thing. I think it's as not the vocalist.
Okay.
I do not mind. I think it's like nice when I go see a gig. I love to watch the vocalist.
Yeah.
Like I think that's such an important thing to like have the vocalist, you know, like pushing the emotion out and like saying like actually just saying the words. I think it's like so important.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like it is like we're a duo and like we both love our stagecraft and we love doing all that kind of stuff, doing all the dance moves and all that kind of stuff. So that like real just like I don't know, I feel like that shares it around. I don't know if that's that. Yeah.
I feel like when I saw you live, I didn't really know what to expect, and then a friend was like, you have no idea, like, wait till they start. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just thinking, like, it's electronic music, I've heard it, it's whatever.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it started, I was like, holy shit. Like, I just didn't, I guess, do you kind of enjoy kind of getting a reaction from people where it's like, I didn't expect that? Because it is just so unique and original with like even your vocals. Like I get such a like Talking Heads and like like
Heads, that's so awesome.
Like I get that real kind of 80s, like I guess it's a bit more like round vocals that are not too like edgy but kind of feminine at the same time. Like I don't know.
Awesome. That is
like like I get kind of like you play with your masculinity but also femininity at the same time, especially with the vocals, and I just love that it's kind of that like I don't know, that 80s sound. Like it's just, and it's so different, and I feel like you kind of bring this like reaction from people where it's like, because I grew up and like when I hear songs that sound like 80s 70s, I think of my childhood, I think of my parents showing me their music that they grew up with, and like when I heard it, it's just like I just got a visceral reaction. It's like, how does that feel to know that you like produce that for people?
Wow. I mean, that feels lovely.
Yeah.
That is so
yeah. And how did you discover like your vocals were like unique? I don't know if you think of them like that.
Very kind. I think that, like, I have never been a singer. Like, I've played a lot of music, but like I didn't study singing or anything.
So you just fell into it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I think we just like found out he has a cool voice, and it's like
have a cool
the
voice.
nature of not being a singer like plays to our advantage, like big time.
Yeah,
because like I think
there are lots of downfalls. Though.
Oh, there's a couple downfalls sometimes, like every now and then, but like that's better than every single downfall. Like uniqueness is not like paramount, but it's like so important, and it if it brings a reaction from someone, like that's like what music is supposed to do.
Yeah,
it's like having that as like by nature is just like so amazing as like a thing to have, and like I think that is just from like lack of training initially.
I
think so.
Agree.
Yeah.
I
love that lack of training.
But honestly, like we spent so long, like when we first made music, just like figuring out like
the sound.
How's it gonna sound? And it just sort of like fell, as you said, it like sort of just like fell into it, and it was just like
so interesting.
Oh, like it kind of just works, and it like comes out really strong live.
It's like cool doing it over like music that isn't. I don't know if like I wouldn't expect to hear. Like the
way
kind of,
like your vocals over that kind of music.
That kind of music, I think. Yeah, like it just.
Yeah, it just becomes like this. I don't know. Yeah. And like obviously like we're doing like training now and stuff like that, and vocals and all that kind of stuff. But like the uniqueness doesn't disappear. Like that's just like a personality thing. It's like so, I think it's so awesome.
That's so cool that you discovered that kind of just later on in your life, being like, oh, I actually have some vocals going on.
I know about that. You're very kind there.
Oh, stop. No, so and then the dancing, I mean, it's just so eye-catching, and you almost get, like, I remember my friend, she literally screamed next to me, she was like, oh my god, this is iconic, like, thank you for bringing me to this gig, like, she was freaking out, she was hilarious, because it's just so entertaining, like, awesome. I can't even express to you how, because like, let's be real. The dance moves aren't like overly complicated or like.
No.
But you know what it reminded me of? It gave me like nut bush vibes,
yeah.
And it's just that kind of classic like everyone can dance along and like do the moves and like. It just, again, it brings back that nostalgia and that fun. Like, I think it's just fun. Yeah. What made you be like, okay, we're doing dance? Like, this is...
I don't remember that. I was thinking about that today.
I think because we we had this book, and we like love this one book, and it was done by like Kanye's manager.
Yeah.
And he manages like the internet and Pharrell as well. And he was like talking about like there's a point where people are paying for more than just good music, because good music is now like, you don't go to a show and talk. I feel like we don't go to a show and talk about the music.
No.
Because the music is expected. It's expected to be good. Like if you go to a show and it has noticeably, like if music is noticeably bad, you're like, oh,
that was just a bad show.
Yeah. Whereas like thinking about ways for us, it was like important to like think about ways that we could do it. So it's like the music is hopefully pretty good, but how can we push the show further so people would they're getting a whole performance and not just like good music.
Yeah, we keep using this word show because that's like it's like the mentality between like, I think like saying performance when you go to like, or like a music performance or something like that, you like expect obviously like you're there to see great music, but like the difference between like the show and like the performance, like going like making it a show, which is like what this guy sort of talks about in this book that we just love.
That's so interesting. Now I want to see this book.
It's like it's like a tiny book. It's not very big. It's just by this guy who I think is it 3/4?
Yeah.
David, he just writes this book, and it's almost like stream of consciousness, like random. He's just like swearing all over the place, and it's wild. He says he's writing it from a tour bus.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he just throws out just like crazy amounts of insights.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just really
advice, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's like
directly advice, isn't it?
It is.
Really?
It's like kind of like a self-help book, but like
for like people who are trying to like literally make a living off of music. Like that's pretty much what he's saying. He just says like it's gonna be hard. Like you have to do so much. Like you have to live it. You have to do all this kind of stuff. So very real, but like so insightful.
So the dance moves were like, we were just like, how can we make it? How can we push the show a little bit more?
We can't dance.
Yeah.
At all.
But you can dance.
Okay.
And it's
say those moves,
but
were
actually,
so, like those moves are so
actually,
easy,
no, I should
like we're gonna practice this for like 8 hours, like every single day, and then keep on stuffing them up, and like multiple times we've messed up the dance moves so often, which makes it exciting. Like of course, but like
you know, we're still on
struggle street out here.
Like they're kind of like daggy dance moves, which makes it iconic.
We're just joking.
Like I feel like, and I mean they're wife beater tank tops, right? The white shirt.
We don't always wear that. We just double up.
Okay,
we always wear the same outfits.
Okay, I thought that was like your costume. Like that's it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be.
I mean, we like them, but we have like turtlenecks that we match, and we have like.
Don't you get hot if you wear a turtleneck to a gig?
It does, but it just adds to the thrill. The near-death experience of overheating.
Yeah. I mean, it would look pretty cool, the both of you, like, in the matching outfits, but, like, I would die if I had to wear a turtleneck on stage with, like, blinding lights and,
Sometimes it's okay.
Like, it's in winter.
If it's in winter, it's great. Yeah. But you still get, like, pretty hot.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay, because when the wife beater tanks and then you got these daggy dance moves, I'm like, this is a couple of dudes having a good time.
Yeah.
Like, that's the vibe I got.
That's the exact vibe we want to push across. Like, we have, like, this mentality, like, like an ethos behind, like, what we want to do. And it's just, like, do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
It's
like,
just,
what
like...
makes you feel good.
Yeah. Like, whereas, like, hedonism.
Yeah.
Like, just, like, do whatever makes you feel good. Like, when we play a show, we just, like... We all, like, you just, like, if you come in to playing a show and just thinking, like, I just want to, like, enjoy myself, like, no matter how you play or how the crowd reacts, like, we're always just going to dance and have fun. And, like, I think it's just, like, so important. It's, like, dress the way you feel, do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Just, like, as long as you feel good.
Yeah.
That's it.
I loved it when at one point you were like wanting the audience to like clap on a specific, and I'm just standing there fucking clapping on the wrong beat, and my friends were like, he said fucking clap on 3, what are you doing?
That's funny. That like is only just like, that's a song we haven't released. That was like the first song we ever made together.
Oh
yeah, that's like doing and then doing 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And that like not on like it's not every single show people want to join in, so it's like it's weird.
So sometimes you'll clap at the audience and they're like,
I'm just like doing it because it's actually part of the song.
We do.
But now it's like become like a bit of a thing. It's like as we've started to play more shows, it's like it's like real fun to like try and get people to be like, I'm gonna do two, like do two. I think that's fun. But yeah, it is a little weird.
See all these drunk idiots trying to be like, oh, what clap am I clapping?
Just like go for it. It just adds to the song anyways.
It does add to the song. And I guess like I feel like my favourite move out of all of them that you do is this one, like where you're like that.
Oh, when we stand behind each other. Yeah. We're real proud.
Do you ever fuck up at that one? Because I feel like that's like coordination to like get it right.
Yeah. I fucked up on Thursday. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, I didn't actually notice.
I put two hands up in the air and I was.
Oh no, I did notice. I did notice. And I tried to copy you as well because I'm standing behind him. So he always moves first.
Okay.
So I like follow after him, like because it's like I don't know how to describe what it is. It's like one of those magic shows where people all stand in a line and everyone goes like that. I don't know how to describe what it is, like for people listening. Yeah.
So basically, you just rip off moves.
Yeah.
I have no idea how we came up with that though.
We ripped off moves.
Yeah.
Oh, did we?
I don't think we like specifically.
Found we would have seen it before.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I always try and copy him if we ever change stuff up because
just let's keep things interesting.
Yeah, we keep things interesting.
But you know what? I feel like. And this, take advice or don't take advice, but I get worried sometimes when you have something that is so organic that if you ever got, like, later into your career and be like, oh, we should get a choreographer to, like, help us out, that it almost would start to make the performances less true to you guys because it isn't having that same process of just happening.
That's
and it's kind of still fun and, like,
daggy?
Because you don't want to become, like,
Not
professional dance.
No,
like,
there's a very different edge to like people throwing down proper dance moves. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we like jokingly say when we like people like awesome dance moves. Yeah. We like jokingly say like if you've got some more dance moves, like give them to us. But like we're not kidding. Help us.
DM them if you've got a dance move.
Yeah, please.
We need help.
Goodness. But no, we just like always. We're not obviously professional dancers or anything like that. So like if you've got a cool dance move to do, like we'll add it. But it's like more the visual effect, especially that one where we stand like next to each other and we kind of do it and the music is like progressing through as we do it. It's like kind of a fancy trick we do with our music. It's like also have it like moving along while we're doing our dance moves at the same time and then we kind of come out of it and we like drop the song as well. It's like that element like won't change because that's us making our set, and like the dance moves have to work with that. Yeah. So yeah.
Because I would be worried if you guys were like, no, we like want to be like professional and like static. Like I don't know. I just worry that sometimes people are like you have to be like professional so much that it's.
Lord, did you know that about Lord? Apparently, like Lord gets like loads of hate because she like dances. She doesn't dance
because she's very, like, rhythmic.
She just sort of throws it down. Yeah.
But I looked it up on Wikipedia the other day. I was looking up Lord on Wikipedia. And, it was like, she's received criticism because she doesn't dance. She, like, dances in her own way. I was like...
We could be heavily criticised.
We probably will be.
Do you ever worry about that? Like, people making fun of you? Or like, I don't give a shit.
That's that whole idea of just, like, do whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And you know what? If what makes you feel good is putting us down, then go for it.
Go for it. As long as you feel good.
Well, I'm glad you guys feel positive about that, because that would probably make me cry.
No. But honestly, like, if people are doing that, there's something going on with them. Yeah. It's not something going on with you. So, yeah.
And do you feel like, I mean, obviously it's always interesting to know, like, if you've ever experienced hate, but obviously it's like when you're upcoming, it's like sometimes you get that privilege of not dealing with hate yet because you're not big enough for enough people to hate you. Yeah. But have you ever felt like you've kind of had to deal with people that you're just kind of like, okay, you're just being a bit of a dick, like?
I think we come across pretty strong. Okay. Like sometimes, like, especially within Australian culture, like the way we dress, you get those people like very pub like sort of people, and they see us like we walk around like berets and like tucked in pants, like high-waisted flared pants and stuff, and they always like, some people make comments. I don't think it really gets to us though, like we don't care, like whatever, like again we're just like, I feel fine. Like if I was walking around in stuff I hated wearing and someone was like, you don't look very good, I'd be like, damn, that really hurts. Because, like, I don't feel good, you just made me feel even worse. But, like, if I'm feeling good in, like, what I'm wearing, like,
I definitely get the pub thing, because I remember one time my boyfriend went to the pub and he was wearing, like, black nail polish, and one of the guys in the pub was like, what are you doing with that shit on your fingers?
Honestly, like, they're going to say that to literally anyone who's, like,
I know.
20-ish years old and wears, like, tucked in pants, or, like, you know, pants that don't go all the way down to your shorts or something.
Yeah,
like,
the 3/4.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And do you guys enjoy the fashion side of things, or is it, again, just one of those things where you're like, we just have a good time? We just throw in something.
Yeah, fashion. But it's been both. Like, we always, you know, as we say, we always want to have a good time, but we think fashion is so cool. As an expressive, creative art form. That is, like, so cool to make that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, we definitely want to get into it more. And we just, like, we love going just, like, op shopping and just, like, finding clothes. It's, like, pretty much everything we wear on stage is op shops. Everything, like, we're wearing is always op shop. So,
love it.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you look at people like Kanye and, like, Rihanna, like, they're really changing the game with, like, musicians being these, like, fashion icons. Yeah. Like, is that something, like, is fashion going to be, like, it's the long term, we want to just keep expressing ourselves, not just through the music, but through our fashion, through our dance? Like, do you feel like it's just all mediums for you guys? Like, is that...
Yeah, I think so. I think it's, like, definitely. It's just like,
yeah,
for sure.
I'm excited. And I love the hair. I feel like you've got a hairstyle thing going on as well. Like, you've got the kind of, like, I don't know, like, I feel like you could go mullet, and you've got the kind of, like, nice bowl cut, like,
Thank you.
I saw someone the other day on TikTok actually grab a bowl and cut their hair as if it's a bowl.
That's a big surfer move, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a big skater surfer move. Just, like, shove a bowl on your head and give it a big shave. But you get it, like, so nicely cut. How long have you had that haircut for?
Like a few years now.
A few years?
Yeah.
Did you used to have just, like, a traditional haircut before that?
Yes, I did. But then I bowled it. I bowl on the head a few times with my friends, and I was like, wait, I love this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's
so awesome. Like Beatles-esque.
Yeah.
Like, so cool. Yeah.
Well, I feel like it fits the whole, like, retro vibe of your music. Again, it's like you've done it with the fashion, you've done it with the look. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I want to talk beat drops, because I feel like when I listen to your music, especially, is it For Now?
Yeah.
Yeah. On Hindsight, I love that beat drop. Like, I think
the hectic moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like when I heard it, it's just one of those moments where it's like, I mean, I can't even imagine when you make a beat drop and you hear it the first time on a speaker and you just think, fuck, that's sick. Like, is it like that moment where you just, like, you hear it for the first time and you're like, holy shit, this is iconic? Like,
it's weird. I don't know. Do you have an answer?
No, I don't think. I think yeah.
Or is that anticlimactic?
It's anticlimactic because we spend, like...
Because you don't get you never listen to your music for the first time.
That's true.
That's like, I remember I'm a big fan of, like, Charlie Puth for some reason. I just, like, follow him on Instagram.
No, he's a good time.
Yeah, he's very fun. Yeah. Just, like, as his content is awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember he was like, I wish I could watch my own show. I was like, I wish I could hear my music for the first time. Because, like, I'd probably have so many different opinions, like, about, like, what we do if you could just, like, completely separate yourself from what you listen to. So it's not as much, like, holy crap, like, this is amazing. It's like when a song comes out for us, like, we've been sitting on that for, like, 6 months.
That's true. I kind of forget that you guys have, like, heard it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You've critiqued every moment of it, so you don't get that enjoyment of hearing it for the first time.
Yeah, I think we played a show last night, and we made a song that day, and we played it that night, that was a moment. I think it's, like, the live thing that I think that happens with live, because, like, it's not just our reaction, because first of all, we don't rehearse when the music is, like, slamming super loud like it is in a venue or something.
Yeah.
So you kind of get that feeling of, like, wow, it's, like, it's so much louder, there's so much more impact. Yeah. Like, wow, this sounds really cool.
Yeah.
But the thing we did yesterday was, like, made a song. It's, like, kind of techno, like, pretty techie, and it, like, drops really hard, and, like, that happened, and, like, the whole crowd just, like, went mental, and it was like, we actually did a thing. Like, that was a moment where, like, wow, that's really cool. But with the recording process, no, it's like, here, we'll like play this note. Okay, that sounds good. All right, we'll add some drums. All right, we add all this stuff. And he's like, oh, this doesn't sound very good. And then we bring it to someone else's house and like they help us sort of refine it and clean it off. So it's like a whole process of like stepping it to get there.
I had this really romanticized image of like being in the studio and like hearing a beat drop and be like, fuck, this is so cool.
Maybe
like
we should do that. We should challenge ourselves. We just like turn the monitors down, like turn the speakers down, try and make an entire song and be like, crank it. And be like, the first time it's like super out of tune.
Because like funny. I remember like I before I met my partner, I never really listened to electronic music. I was very like classic rock. Nice. Maybe top 40. Yeah. And then, like, maybe some jazz sometimes. Cool. But, like, I didn't like to listen to electronic music for some weird reason. Because now I'm like, I could never go back. It's like, once I start, it's like, you can't stop. Especially, like, hyper pop. I never thought I'd be into that shit. Wow. It's so cool. Yeah, like, that high pitch, like, frequency. Like, it's just so sick. And I feel like my boyfriend, when he showed me on speakers, like, the song like Hex by Arc Patrol, I think, or like Some Minds by Flume, like some of these drops in that music, I'm just like hearing it on a speaker, it's just like, it's like an eargasm. Like you just kind of go, holy shit, this is amazing. Do you guys have songs that you think like the first time you heard it, you were just like obsessed with it? Like I know there's so much music out there, but like was there like a beat drop that you were like, I fell in love with this? Like, I don't know.
I remember the first time I listened to music, just like, because you're talking about like listening to music on speakers. Yeah. Like the first time I listened to music in like an actual studio. Yeah. Like this is not an actual studio.
No,
like
it's not.
Actual like, you pay a lot of money, walk into this room, there's like someone working.
That was so sassy of me. I was like, no, this is not a real studio.
Oh, poor little studio.
It's not a baby studio. Let's set up.
But like when you know when you go into like a real studio, and we love that kind of energy. I remember the first time I did that, and like someone just like played. It was like music that I just like never listened to. It was like some kind of like progressive rock or something like that. Yeah, it was just, I don't know. Yeah. And it was just like, yeah, you sit there and you like eargasm is like the perfect word. Yeah. 'Cause you just sit there and it's like you're just surrounded and like enveloped and you're just like sitting in music and everything is so crisp and clear. So that is just like any song like that. Like as soon as you like might listen to like, I don't have like AirPods or something like that. So like if I'm listening to music like in my car, and then if I properly want to listen to music like coming down here and listening to it, it's just like so insane. I don't know if I have a song. I listen to like so much. I think we both just listen to like, we just like, I don't know, just like spam new songs, just like constantly, like always going through songs. We have like songs we come back to. I don't know if you have like a song.
Yeah, there are definitely like songs that like for like electronic. Like I didn't listen to that much electronic music.
Okay.
I listened to like a little bit. But
yeah,
like,
we listened to. I don't think we listened to like heaps.
No.
I went through a phase. But
yeah. Nah. Not anymore. I reckon that song by Anderson .Paak that's like Till It's Over.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like not really like it is an electronic song, but it's like so different and weird. I thought that like stuck out because I was like, it's like such.
It has like real
details.
Yeah, it has like what do they call it? Like ear candy. Like that's sort of what people call it. Like when they add like loads of like weird little blips and bloops. Like on the sides, like real, like more. I'm gonna use the word vibe. Just like there's like add.
I know vibes become really. It's probably really bad.
I just don't have a word to interchange at the moment. I know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But yeah, I think it's just like those sort of noises that just like sort of like bring you to the spot where the song's trying to take you. Like that, like something like Till It's Over, like really has that. Yeah. It's the same with like I'm a big Glass Animals fan. Okay. And I think they do that a lot as well. Like that music sounds really good on speakers.
Yeah. No, it is just, and I remember there was a beat drop in when I saw you live that it was just like you could just feel the crowd just be like, everyone. I remember watching back the video and everyone's like, oh my god,
that's awesome. That's so cool.
That's what's it like having that much power?
Sometimes we don't have that much power. Sometimes we really mess those up. Other times they go great. Obviously it went okay that time.
Yeah. Does shit ever go wrong live and you kind of have to like save it?
What a timed question, because we had a gig on like very recently and we had like one moment where like the thing we have, like the way we run our set is like there's this one thing in the middle that sort of sends information to every instrument and like sort of controls the whole entire set in a way, and that thing stopped working and it just like crashed and it was just like this noise that just went like beep.
Okay.
And it was like we handled it fine, but that was a bit chaotic. That was like sort of the only moment where stuff's actually gone wrong,
because we like wanted to run the whole set. Like we've heard like so many horror stories about people having laptops on stage and laptops breaking and Ableton not working. So we're like, we want to not do that. So we were like, no laptops for our live set, and it's this machine that we have, this brain essentially that sends all of the information. Is like is we haven't been playing shows for that long, but like it is incredible, this thing, and it's like it really it never messes up.
We rehearse a lot.
Yeah.
Like we make new songs with our live setup. Like our live setup is a very different situation to what we're sitting in now. Yeah. Like that sort of like makes us make different music. Like that's sort of why we love our live set and why we sort of separate it slightly from the music that we make when we're sitting in here.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like a different workflow and that kind of stuff. So we love like rehearsing and doing that kind of stuff. Yeah. And we're massive nerds. We like with music. So hopefully when we come and we play a show, like there's never like a scenario where we're like what are we doing? Like what's going on here? Yeah. Like something's gone completely haywire. Yeah. And if that does happen, usually we know like that's exactly what's wrong. Yeah. We can like rope it in or fix it or just take it out or something like that.
Yeah. But it is that pressure of like, you don't have a team of people making sure that everything's right. It's like that responsibility falls on you guys. Yeah. And that's like a lot of pressure to have. But I guess if you take that rehearsal really seriously, then it's like you're not coming into live shows being like, oh fuck, like we haven't checked this, we haven't made sure this is right. Yeah. Like, and I guess it's kind of different to like with acoustic instruments, it's like, I mean, unless, like, obviously the speakers, you know, fuck up or anything. But it's, like, I feel like you feel so in control of what's happening. Whereas with electronic music, it's, like, you're dealing with so much that could possibly go wrong. And there's a lot of, I guess there's a lot of timing and coordination that goes into it as well. So it's, like, I don't know, that seems like a lot of pressure to have. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, like, I think with our set, and, like, because we come from playing instruments, like, like physical acoustic instruments. Yeah. With our set, like, when we're playing, I'm going to put quotation about electronic music, because we don't know what we're doing. Yeah. Yeah. But the way we try and do it, we try and make it kind of tactile. Like, a lot of time, electronic music is, like, a lot of people just, like, DJing and sort of sing along with that, or, like, having a DJ and then one other instrument and then sort of sing along with that. So, you know, or with a laptop where it all just becomes, you know, things just on a screen. Yeah. Whereas, like, the way we try and do it is we try and, like, have, like, we can...
Well, it's analog, I guess.
Yeah, that's, like, sort of what it is. Yeah. Like, that literally is what it is.
That is what it is.
So, like, if something is wrong, we can actually, like, reach and be like, this is wrong. Like, this is out of tune. There's, like, a knob to turn if it's out of tune. Or, like...
Whereas a laptop, it's, like, you just don't know.
Well, exactly. Like, you have to, like, literally sit there and, like, go on your laptop and, like, go around and just, like, see what's going on. It could be something wrong with the laptop. But, like... when one piece breaks on our set, we're like, that is 100% broken. Like, there is, like...
And there are, like, ways that we can...
Yeah, there's always ways to fix stuff or, like, change it. But when it's a laptop, it's like, holy crap, like, I need to switch my laptop off. And that is the whole entire set sort of broken down.
Yeah.
Sort of gone.
Yeah, definitely. That makes so much sense. Now, I'm going to switch it up a bit, but... You guys have a lot of fun on stage, but what happens when you've had, like, a really shitty day out of nowhere and it's like you've got to bring the energy and be happy? Because I feel like unlike other artists where it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to sing my sad songs tonight and be depressed, you don't get that luxury of just being like, okay, we're going to be really depressed on stage and, like, talk about how shit my life is. Yeah. What do you do in that scenario? Do you just be like, okay, well, fucking pull my head into the game? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I remember we had a show one time and something happened with like there was like stuff with the venue and miscommunication and
that was just
the people at the venue weren't like it was just like a whole thing, and we were mad, like we were angry at
the way they dealt. They just like there was a problem. It was like in the whole COVID thing, and there was like a problem with like people moving seats, and someone was just absolutely shocking, like in the way they dealt with people, and there was like made someone cry, like made one of the artists cry by just like coming onto them so strong and so.
And so that was like we were angry, and I think that our music is fun, but like there is definitely an element of like fuck you that we want to bring to that, because like you should, if you're feeling good, if you're doing stuff that makes you feel good, it's probably not going to make everyone happy, so you got to have a bit of fuck you there. So except also, man, like as soon as we like hit play, we have so much fun.
Exactly.
We hit play and we're like, damn, like we've rehearsed this a million times, and we ourselves will have fun for the next like hour.
It makes us happy, like, to play live music. Like, that's like we always feel it's like that's like what we're meant to be doing. Like we're meant to be playing our music live. So like as soon as you said, like as soon as we hit play on the first song, it's like sort of just like reborn, like escape all that stuff. You don't have the chance to think about the other stuff because you're thinking about everything you have to play and stuff. But
that's really interesting, because I guess from an outside perspective, it's like you just don't know, like, if someone's having an off night, if they could still bring that same level of energy, because, like, when I think about other artists who are having a crap night, it's like they can just sing their sad songs and be like that, whereas you guys, it is just, you require so much fun that if you're not, if something bad's just happened with the venue, the people, whatever, it's like, how do you switch that on? And I guess bringing a little fuck you probably helps with that.
Definitely. Well, like, I think, like, if you take your perspective, like, a bad day, and you'd be like, it can either be like, oh, like, makes you just, like, want to crash and just, like, go to bed and just, like, forget about it, or you can just, like, be like, flip that whole idea of, like, oh, it's a bad day, I'm going to be super sad about it. It's like, oh, it's a bad day, fuck that entire day. I'm just going to go have a bunch of fun. And it's like, I guess that's what we do. We never think about, like, coming on stage and like turning it on.
Okay.
We don't ever do that.
So you're always turned on?
Davey's like, I gotta do a whole like meditation process, you know.
Yeah. Always turned on.
Yeah. Cool.
Alright. So I think it's like we just like show up to the venue, and so often like we work jobs that we don't like particularly want to be at for the rest of our lives.
Are you guys in hospitality or retail or desk jobs or?
Davey used to work at a coffee shop.
I did
for a long time.
How
and
is
that was
that?
taxing by the time.
Can you make me a flat white?
Excuse me, I ordered a large. I swear to God. No. It's more just like, you know, like the court, like if, like we feel very, like so drawn to what we are doing.
Yeah.
Like when we go places, because we need to make money.
Yeah.
Like when we go to when we're there, we're like this can't be the cause. Like this cannot be our, like this is not the purpose. And so it's definitely taxing.
Yeah, we've definitely come into a lot of gigs being like, holy crap, that was a long day. Yeah. Like, you know, Dave used to work at coffee shops and like get up at like 4 a.m. and like go work and then would play a gig that night. But like no one would ever notice, because it's just like I don't know. It just like comes on. It's just like you play the music and you're like, holy crap, this is what we're doing.
Also,
like, this is so cool.
It's like going back to like the whole like performance thing. It's like, man, people pay money to see you, and they have to probably work a job that is not their calling either. So like, goddamn, like if I paid X amount of money, but like say like even like an act, like a big act, like if I paid like $50 to go see a show and then they were like, that's such a shitty day, like, I'd be like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Give me my money back.
Yeah. Because I guess in a way, I've definitely been like maybe more like international artists where you can tell they're just like, I remember seeing someone and they were just like in a foul mood. And I'm like, this is just not enjoyable. Like I just paid like X amount of money, which is probably like $200 to see you, and you're in a crap mood. Like,
well, and crap mood, man. Everyone gets crap moods. Yeah. But it's like, if you're like an entertainer, like you are there to entertain people, then you need to do your job. Like it is a job. It is fun, but it's like it has to be like you have to do it for for a performance.
Yeah. It's interesting because it kind of relates back to hospitality. I mean, I remember being a waitress, and like my boss used to be like to me, the customers don't give a shit if you've had a bad day. You get in there and you work and you give people the night of their lives. And it's in a way it's kind of like a performance because you have to be so switched on and be like, hi, what would you like? Like customer service voice, you know, and the whole thing. And it's just like, because I used to complain to my parents being like, oh my God, I hate this job, blah, blah, blah. And they were just like, yeah, but like, it's your job. Like, you have to be on. You have to, you're there to give people service. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I know, but like... Yeah,
exactly. Well, it makes it a bit easier for us when to do that is like, what we want to do. Like, our job is exactly, whereas like, hospital, like...
I mean, have people telling us to bring back food or something like that. Like, we don't have that. We're not stopping.
Sorry, can you redo that song?
Yeah, like, what?
I'm sure there's people out there though.
Yeah.
I can't wait to meet them.
Oh yeah, excited.
Have you had much, like, in terms of like the music industry, do you feel like you've kind of got in touch with that yet, or do you still feel like you're kind of on the outs of it?
What a lovely question. I like that question.
Yeah.
No, I think we're still so new.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like, we've still got so far to go. Like, we've done it for a couple of years. And, like, only now we're realising the value of just, like, getting involved. And just, like, we've spent so much time, like, honing our own skills and, like, in this room and just denning it out for ages. And, like, as sort of said earlier, it's just, like, we just want to get out there and now just, like, collaborate and work with as many people as possible. So, like, and just meet. Like, the more people that we meet, the more we realise how nice everyone is and how everyone is actually just on the same journey, and it's not a competition. Like, no one's stealing fans from someone else. Like, people are allowed to like more than one band. Like, there's such, like, sometimes you see bands play and they're like so jealous of where people are. And it's like, that's not the kind of energy you want to bring. Like, when you want to enjoy yourself, and like, so much of this is, you know, having fun and enjoying it and spreading that to people, to like other people. So we definitely want to get more involved, but I feel like we're still so new. We've still got so much to learn.
Yeah. And how did you guys deal with the COVID situation as musicians? Because obviously that was like, I mean, it was hard for everyone, but I think it's always interesting to talk to people who it's like, you guys rely on performing, like not necessarily financially, but as performers, it's like when you can't perform, you kind of lose a part of yourself because you're like, that's part of who I am. How did you guys deal with, like, did you just kind of be like, okay, this is time to make music then? Or did you just be like, we need a bit of a break? Like, how did you deal with it?
I think that we the first lockdown, we were like, let's make loads of music, and we still felt like pretty motivated. Like, like, obviously we only, like, we are a duo, but Kai lives here, so it's like, in lockdown, I was at my house and he was over here. So like, when we got to the point where we could make music, when like the restrictions eased, then we like as Kai said, like, staying here for like 2 weeks. But this last one, I've felt so unmotivated to make music.
Yeah, coming out of because we have had 2 lockdowns pretty much, right?
The most recent one was rough.
The most recent one was rough because we sort of had the first lockdown. Is this right? We had the first lockdown and then we started playing shows. Is that when we... No.
Yeah.
Is that when we first started playing shows? Yeah. So we had the first lockdown. That didn't really impact us playing shows because we haven't played shows for very long.
Okay.
And so then we played for about 3 months, like, sort of in that gap. And that was like we played like our first gig, and it was a sit-down gig. And then...
God, I cannot imagine seeing you guys and having to sit down.
Yeah. That was hard as our first show. That was like our first gig.
Hard.
Yeah. But it was awesome as well. It was actually kind of fun.
And then it meant that when people could stand up, it felt
they came again, and they're like, oh, like, standing up show, like, awesome. And then that stopped, and we found that hard. Because we were just starting to get, like, lots of shows, like a tiny bit of momentum, and then it just got, like, completely stripped away. And I think that sort of just, like, pulled the rug out from underneath us, and we're just like, we needed time to just sit, reflect on, like, what we've done, and just, like, sort of separate ourselves just for a tiny bit, because we were so annoyed that had happened. Obviously, there are so many people in, you know, worse off situations than what we were in, but we were just, like, devastated that we couldn't keep on playing shows. So it's like what we love to do, and it's like what we want to make our livelihood. So it sort of felt like towards the end, like, at the start, we're like devastated about the fact that we'd lost the chance to play shows and we'd had shows cancelled, and then sort of towards the end, we were sort of devastated about the fact that we'd lost so much time. Because like, at that point, you know, however long that was, like 6 months of lockdown or something like that. That was like
it was something long.
It was just long, yeah. And so you sort of sit there and like, wow, like we made such great progress in 3 months.
Yeah.
Like imagine if we'd had these 6 months. Like imagine where we'd be, but it's never useful to think like that. No. Like, and then that's when we pulled ourselves out of it. We're back into making so much more music. We're getting some shows again. So
yeah.
And I think
that's something that people forget is how much live music brings to people's mental health as well. It's like, obviously, yes, maybe your work is not seen as, the...
No, it's not essential.
Yeah, apparently. But it brings so much to people's lives that actually creates a better society because it creates culture and happiness and joy and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, when you can't provide that to people, I think you can see the damage it takes on people not going out and experiencing entertainment. And it's like, I mean, sports was valued, but I think the music scene was maybe less...
Yeah, it was definitely
less valued. And, it's kind of sad that was really clear during lockdown that music wasn't given that same priority because it's like we need to give people something. Like, I think it gives a lot of people hope and joy, and to not provide that during such like a hard time seemed rough. I know it was obviously hard because how do you do it? How do you do live music while keeping socially distant? But I
think it's like something to take out of, like, maybe some people took away from like the lockdown itself, and especially when it got so long, like the value of like not only like socializing, but like socializing over an event or just like, I don't know, just enjoying that. And it's like a music and like live performances, like for us provides like escapism.
Yeah.
And like when the world is so tough, like all people need is escapism. It's like the one thing people like couldn't get was like the ability to just like not be in your work life or not be in like your family life, and like everyone was just sitting in that and just like sort of cesspool of just like gross feelings, just like all that kind of crap, and then finally you can like go dance or do whatever makes you feel better, just like get away from the people you spent 6 months with. I think it's like people can take that away at least from a lockdown and be like, maybe these are like actually the things that I value. Like, of course, like it's so important, essential workers and all those kinds of things, but it's like people actually need that. Like, we're not robots. Like,
No, it was such a joy coming out of lockdown and seeing you guys live and having a good time. Now, did your EP come out this year as well, or last year?
This year.
Yeah?
This year.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah, I'm so forgetful.
Well, and last year and this year kind of blended together.
Yeah, this year. It was this year.
Yeah. What was the release like? Because obviously with COVID that may have changed things up a little bit, but was it still as like fulfilling as it could have been? Like,
I think it was just like, for us, it was just like a learning experience. I think it's like sort of what we take away from that. It was like the first body of work we'd ever released. We released 2 singles before that, and then we released 5 more songs, like as singles, and then coupled them together into an EP.
Yeah.
And like every time I think we put out music, we just learn like so much about, you gotta learn about like algorithms and like what putting songs onto like Spotify and all those kinds of things. Like there's this whole back end that we joke about that like we don't know anything about. Like
the back end, it's like,
people use this word like putting it into the back end of Spotify, and we're just like, where's this like warehouse of Spotify where our music is sitting? But there's like so much to learn. So we loved like putting out music and the idea of people listening to our music and like seeing people react and like not as much seeing because it's obviously not live, but like having people message me like I love this song, and like just having our friends and having our parents like listen to the music is so cool. But every time it's like a learning thing, and once that music comes out, we're already ready to like push onto new music and like always sort of leapfrogging forwards. So that's sort of the most exciting part about putting out music.
That's awesome.
Is that the next piece of music is like even closer, and the next piece of music is even closer.
Hopefully even better.
It's always that thing about just like the next one's gonna be better.
Better and better and
better.
Yeah, like we're always trying to improve. So
I feel like your EP was pretty like cohesive, because sometimes I listen to EPs and I'm like, this person's all over the place still trying to figure out their sound. And I think that's what an EP is like figuring out who you are. But it's like, I feel like you guys know what you sound like, but it's only going to get like better because you're going to be like even more solidified in your sound.
Yeah. I just like back on that thing that like whatever music we make together, just like that's like we're just brutally honest. Like we like what we like and we don't like what we don't like.
Yeah.
And so like when we make music, I think we just play stuff that we like, and that is like the whole reason. Like we're not trying to make music that sounds like something.
Yeah.
We love the bands that we love, and we're inspired by so many, like such a diverse range of bands, and that sort of just comes together like as individuals, and then as individuals we come together, and like that just kind of makes for some kind of cohesiveness.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. It's strange. It's strange to think about. But yeah, I guess.
And how did you feel with like realizing, okay, we need to use social media? Because I feel like this is always kind of like the realization for artists is like, okay, like we can't just like not do promotion for our, like how are people going to find out, right? But then I think sometimes being an artist is like you don't want to spend your time on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. It's like how do you guys deal with, because obviously there's not just one of you. Do you guys like delegate the kind of more like not boring stuff, but kind of the more like, oh, we've got to do this, like admin work. Like, how do you delegate that? And do you guys like enjoy it at all? Like,
I don't think we don't hate it.
You don't hate it?
No.
Okay.
I think like talking about like the whole thing, like all mediums, is like what we sort of said before.
Yeah.
Like we love our Instagram feed.
Oh, okay.
Like, snobbishly, I guess, but like we like the whole thing about like image. We're like massive fans of like a band like Daft Punk.
Yeah.
Where like you look at them and like you see the two robot faces.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Daft Punk. But like, just like you see the two robots and like immediately, like you hear the music or like you know what the music sounds like and you know what they're all about and you know what their live show is kind of going to be like. It's like you can do that so much more with Instagram. Like you can do that so much more with Facebook, and the way you talk on Facebook. Yeah. Like you can either be like, oh, that's so much work, or you can be like, oh, that's so awesome. Like there's so much availability to like let people know like what you're about. Yeah. Like on their phones, which is so cool.
I guess I shouldn't assume that you would hate that. I just like sometimes I get the vibe from people that they're like, oh my god, I
think it's right to assume. Like we definitely get to a point where like, oh crap, we've gone to post. And like we're like, I don't really feel like doing it. Oh, that's nice. So we prep posts, like we do like
scheduling.
Yeah, we do scheduling, like schedule like a month in advance or something. So it's like, okay, we don't have to worry about this. We know we're going to be in the studio for a while. Yeah. So let's just like get that out of the way, like sort of out of mind, and that's happening.
But you enjoy creating the image of who you guys are.
It's nice. Like we think photography and fashion and all of these things are like such cool things that like cool creative aspects that we don't know that much about. So like we want to like do more of that stuff as well. Yeah. So it's nice to be able to be like, oh, how would you curate your art show? And then be like, oh, how would you curate your Instagram feed?
Yeah.
Treat it the same way. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you had some like professional photo shoots or?
So luckily my sister is a photographer.
Oh, and always convenient.
Yeah, it's very convenient. And she's so awesome. And it's like same with my mum, like works a lot in just like sort of like interior designing sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So like I think maybe my love for all that kind of stuff and like image stuff sort of comes from there.
Yeah.
And like seeing she's an older sister, so like sort of like as a younger brother, like sort of following around and just like seeing all that kind of stuff happen. I think it's like sort of comes from that. Yeah. Just like getting excited about doing that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it's been lovely talking to you guys.
It's been lovely talking to you too.
Yeah, this was really fun, and like Barley Passable, go follow them, go to their live shows, you will not regret it. I'm actually is it the 30th that you're doing a show?
With Betty.
Yeah, with Betty at the Royal in Bondi.
Yeah. I am definitely going to that. Yeah, because like I got to finish the year off, right?
That's our plan. We're going to finish it off very strong.
Yeah.
And every time you come see us, our set will be different.
Yeah.
You reckon?
No, that's like a thing we do.
Oh, sorry, you know.
But like we literally just change our set. That's how we know.
Like no, like we literally do something different.
No, it's not just the experience, but we literally change our set.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be like,
we'll keep it exciting.
Okay, so you can't wear the wife beater shirts this time.
That's not a guarantee. I mean, it depends how many like outfits we go through.
Do you actually have an amount of outfits that you have that you turn over?
I guess so.
Yeah,
I don't know how many.
Sometimes we go when we like go out shopping together. We'll like, if there are like two things that are in the same size,
we'll be like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Especially with like recycled clothing, it is so difficult to find. Yeah, but when it happens, you're like, wow, this
Do your girlfriends ever have opinions about what you should or shouldn't wear?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't. No, not mine.
Yeah,
I think we just okay. We don't dress like we wear like they. I think they understand the ethos of like what we want to do, and like I think people can appreciate like the idea of just like being expressive and allowing yourself to be expressive. So
yeah, I love that. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.